In order to improve the commuter transportation capacity of the Jakarta metropolitan area, Indonesia had previously planned to invest $185 million to purchase 11 new electric multiple units. The contract was originally signed with a Japanese train company. However, Indonesia recently signed a train purchase contract with a Chinese company, which resulted in the original order from Japan falling through. But the story does not end here. Some Japanese media claimed that the main reason why Indonesia finally chose China was the so-called pressure from China. They believe that since the Indonesian Jakarta-Bandung high-speed rail project opened last year was built by China and China provided a large amount of loan support, China may have exerted some influence in the decision to purchase the train, forcing Indonesia to abandon cooperation with Japan. So why did Indonesia finally choose the Chinese train? Is it true that there is political pressure from China behind this order, as the Japanese media said? If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now, let's get into today's topic. As an important member of Southeast Asia, Indonesia is also the fourth most populous country in the world. By the end of 2023, Indonesia's population has reached 276 million. The country consists of more than 17,508 islands with a total area of 1.919 million square kilometers. But what's interesting is that although there are many islands, most people live on a few well-developed large islands, especially Sulawesi and Java. Java is not only the economic heart of Indonesia, but also the capital, Jakarta. Currently, there are about 150 million people living on Java, accounting for 60% of the total population of Indonesia. Such a dense population makes Java one of the most densely populated areas in the world, with a population density of more than 1,000 people per square kilometer. But this dense population phenomenon has also brought tremendous pressure to Indonesia's infrastructure, especially in transportation. According to the latest data from Indonesian Railways, PTKI, the railway operator in Indonesia is now running out of train resources. Some of their old vehicles can no longer be used. Originally, Indonesia's state-owned rolling stock manufacturer INK intended to modernize 19 old trains, but only completed the transformation of 2 trains. Especially in large cities such as Jakarta, electric multiple units are an important part of public transportation and are vital to local economic activities. Other data show that PTKI's passenger volume is also continuing to rise. In 2023, the average daily passenger flow on weekdays has reached 830,000, and by June 2024, this number is close to 1 million. PTKI also expects that the annual passenger flow growth rate may reach 6% from 2024 to 2027. This growth trend has put a lot of pressure on Indonesia's railway system. If new trains are not introduced as soon as possible, Indonesia's railway transportation capacity may be seriously insufficient, which will not only affect people's daily travel, but also have a negative impact on the economy of the entire region. In order to cope with the growing passenger demand, Indonesian Railways has drawn up a phased train procurement plan. They plan to introduce the first batch of 3 brand new trains in early 2025 and plan to add another 8 trains in the same year to gradually replace the old models that have been in disrepair. So at the end of 2023, Indonesian Railways has applied to Congress for $185 million in funds to purchase these new trains. It is worth noting that based on the success of the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed rail project previously developed by China and Indonesia, Indonesia has now chosen China as a partner again without hesitation. Of course, China is also happy about this $185 million order, so they will provide more support and services to Indonesia's rail transit and energy transformation to help Indonesia's economic and social development. Finally, in January 2024 of this year, CRRC Sifong and Indonesian Railways officially signed a supply contract for electric trains in Beijing, but this is the first time that China has exported commuter electric multiple units to Southeast Asia. According to the supply contract signed this time, CRRC Sifong will provide 11 brand new electric multiple units to Indonesian commuter train companies. These new trains will be designed with advanced technology, with a maximum operating speed of 120 kilometers per hour. Each train will consist of 12 carriages and a maximum passenger capacity of 3,396 people. These trains will use stainless steel bodies and adapt to Indonesia's 1,067mm track gauge to ensure their applicability and durability in the local railway system. Shockingly, the new trains will also be equipped with a series of modern service facilities, such as LED dynamic electronic maps and passenger information display screens to provide more intuitive riding information. In addition, in order to improve the efficiency of train inspection and maintenance, these trains will be equipped with a simple operation console in the middle. According to the plan, the first 3 new trains will be delivered in January 2025, and the remaining trains will be delivered by September of the same year. The implementation of this investment plan will effectively enhance the public transportation capacity of the Jakarta metropolitan area, alleviate the current congestion, and inject new impetus into local economic development. Of course, for Indonesian train companies, the choice to continue to cooperate with China is based on the good cooperation between the two sides. The success of the previous cooperation allowed Indonesia to avoid additional design evaluation of the new batch of vehicles this time, which saved a lot of time and cost, and ensured that the new vehicles could be delivered in time. In a recent speech at the Indonesian parliament, the head of the Indonesian National Railway emphasized the main purpose of the purchase of additional electric multiple units to meet the growing demand for rail transportation in Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, and Jabodetabek by 2025. Once these new trains replace the existing old cars and are put into operation on the Jabodetabek commuter line, the daily carrying capacity of the entire line is expected to reach the target of 1.8 million passengers. At present, the average speed of Indonesian trains is only 50 kilometers per hour, while the new trains provided by China can reach a maximum speed of 120 kilometers per hour, which means that commuting time will be reduced by more than half, greatly improving commuting efficiency. Some Indonesian economists pointed out that the commissioning of Chinese trains will not only ease local traffic pressure, but also bring about 5% growth to Indonesia's economy. But just after China and India signed the cooperation agreement, some Japanese media began to claim that Indonesia's initial partner was not China, but Japanese companies. What happened behind this? In fact, the Indonesian railway train procurement project attracted companies from many countries including Japan, China, and South Korea to participate in the bidding. At the beginning, Japan was indeed the selected cooperation target. But as time went on, the Indonesian media also revealed more details in subsequent reports. They emphasized that the entire bidding process was fair and just, without any external pressure or influence, especially from China. In contrast, China's offer is not only more economical, but also shows stronger competitiveness in technology and strength. But the main reason why Japan lost this order was the temporary price increase proposed by the Japanese company. As early as September last year, the original Indonesian railway company had negotiated with Japan and basically determined the contract for purchasing trains. But a month later, Japan suddenly submitted a new offer to Indonesia with a price increase. Compared with the previous offer, the price of each train in the new offer has increased by nearly $230,000. Faced with this situation, the Indonesian government felt it necessary to compare Japan's offer with that of other countries to ensure that it could select the partner that was most beneficial to the country. So the Chinese company was able to obtain the $185 million train order. But what we know is that Indonesia finally chose the Chinese company not only because of the price, but also because the Chinese-made trains fully meet Indonesia's various needs. Back then, Most of the high-speed rail or railway orders in Vietnam and India were won by Japan, but the actual progress of the subsequent projects was somewhat disappointing. In Vietnam, the railway project undertaken by Japan has not yet started due to the extremely slow construction progress. In India, the high-speed rail project is also progressing slowly and has not yet been completed halfway. These examples all show that although Japan won the order at the beginning, it failed to fulfill its promise in actual implementation, causing the project to stagnate. As for South Korea, Indonesia also clearly pointed out the reason for not choosing them. Indonesia pointed out that most of the trains manufactured in South Korea are made of aluminum, while Indonesia needs stainless steel trains more, which takes into account durability and adaptability to the local environment. Stainless steel car bodies are not only more suitable for Indonesia's climatic conditions, but also better meet Indonesia's demand for train durability. In contrast, China not only met Indonesia's requirements in material selection, but also agreed to customize air conditioning systems and seat configurations according to Indonesia's specific needs. This further proves that Indonesia's choice of China CRRC Corporation is based on reasonable considerations rather than being affected by external pressure. In contrast, China's development in the field of high-speed rail can be regarded as a world-leading model. As of 2023, China's total high-speed rail mileage has exceeded 158,000 kilometers, ranking first in the world. However, it is not just these amazing numbers that are really impressive. More importantly, China's high-speed rail construction has demonstrated high efficiency and rapid advancement. China has built a wide-ranging 4 vertical and 4 horizontal high-speed rail network, and is now expanding to a more ambitious 8 vertical and 8 horizontal model. With the deepening of the Belt and Road Initiative, China's high-speed rail is not only limited to the country, but also gradually moving to the world stage, especially in Europe, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East, further expanding its global influence. So, do you think Indonesia's choice to cooperate with China is the right choice? To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.